Joining me is Harry Wilkinson. He's Head of Policy for Net Zero Watch. Harry, over the decades, lots of talk about, balance of energy, bits from nuclear and bits from this and bits from that. I don't think people really have a full picture. I'm going to put up on the screen now for you to have a look at. And for our radio listeners, we will explain. This was the situation on National Grid at 9 o'clock this morning. On renewables, solar was producing the grand total of 0%. All those solar panels we see, Harry, in our farmers' fields, 0%, and wind, 3.5%. Now, I keep being told that the more wind turbines we build, that actually it's going to be 30, 40, 50% of our energy needs. What went wrong this morning?
Well, I think politicians have treated our energy policy as if it was a popularity contest. We like wind, we like solar, so let's just build out those. They've ignored the fact that actually you need to provide a grid that provides the energy when people need it. And what we've seen this winter is an increasingly tight energy margin, and National Grid have said they think it will cost between £200 and £400 million just to keep these two coal-fired power stations on backup. Now, it turns out this evening they weren't actually required, but we've seen record prices. Yet.
I mean, here's the point. I think that when wind goes down to 3.5%, and by the way, it can go lower than that, can't it?
I mean, wind can go very, very low, close to 0% of our energy needs, and we've got a plan just to build it out larger and larger. But we haven't dealt with that core problem of intermittency. That's the variability of wind. It can be as high as 60%, but it can be as low as 0%. And so this is leaving us with an increasingly expensive grid that needs all core...
Harry, I've been told by the Green campaigners, you're wrong, because we can store the electricity.
Well, we were told that this would happen. And people like Net Zero Watch and the Global Warming Policy Foundation have been warning politicians that unless you deal with this problem, we're going to have these kind of very high prices. And we needed that storage to be ready now. We needed these policies to be ready now. And we were told, don't worry, as wind grows, we'll have all these solutions. Well, we're in a situation now where we've built a huge amount of wind and those solutions just haven't been ready.
So to keep the lights on today, we've had to burn a lot of gas, but we're also importing, and this is the point I want to reinforce. We import electricity from Norway, from France, from Belgium, although the French supply is not as reliable as it was as their nuclear fleet gets older. As a result of that, just tell us what happened, in simple English, to energy prices today.
Well, a small gas power station in North London, not a big scale one, was charging the National Grid £6,000 per megawatt hour. And that is a record for the balancing mechanism, and that's the National Grid's system that they have to make sure that in real time supply is meeting demand at any particular moment.
£6,000 per megawatt hour. What is the normal price of electricity?
So the long-term average was about £50 or £60 per megawatt hour before this energy crisis. So this is 100 times greater than we were seeing just 2 or 3 years ago. And that is what the National Grid
has paid to this company, and that in the end comes down to us and consumers and will go on our bills.
This will go on people's bills, and it's a symptom of complete chaos and complete crisis in our energy system.
This is absolutely astonishing. Folks at home, in your cars, wherever you are, get a handle on that. We have paid today 100 times the normal price for electricity so that you can watch this program, boil a kettle, run a hot shower this evening. It is truly, truly astonishing. I warned that it was going to happen. What are the prospects of the lights going out? Or is it going to be possible if we need to import that energy from the continent?
Well, even the National Grid have said that we could see blackouts this winter. However, they do have increasing ways in which they can manage that. But we may see a brownout, which is when they pay people to switch off. But that has enormous implications for the economy, because if industry can't operate, even if they're getting a price for that, this is a bad situation to be in, because cheap energy is at the heart of what makes a successful economy. And this kind of approach, where we're essentially rationing electricity, we thought this would never happen again after the 70s. We should be in an era of progress, but what we're seeing is a downward spiral, and it's born out of wishful thinking and a failure to confront the trade-offs in energy policy. Yes, people want to see a greener future. That's not entirely wrong, but we have to be honest about the trade-offs involved. We have to be honest about what different technologies can provide. And unless we do that, we're going to meet increasing difficulties.
Harry Wilkinson, thank you very much indeed. And I'm just blown away by that all-time record price that's been paid by National Grid for electricity today. Actually, it makes me damned angry. The virtue signalling and idealism of our political parties in Westminster has no connection with reality. Well, today we hit that reality.